Step 1 is to get our amplitude, which is the maximum minus the minimum divided by 2. So 57, which is one of our maximums, minus 13, which is one of our minimums, equals 44. Divide that by 2, which equals 22 as our amplitude. The second step is to find the vertical shift, which is the average of our max and min. So in this, for step 2, we did 57 max plus 13 minimum equals 70. To take the average, divide by 2 equals 35. We know that a max occurs at t equals 43 and a min occurs at t equals 17. One wavelength is a distance of one revolution, so half the wavelength is a distance of half a revolution. Thus, the horizontal distance between the min and the max is half a wavelength. So what I did was 43 minus 17 equals 26. This is half a wavelength. We got to find the full wavelength. So 26 times 2 gives us our full wavelength, which makes sense because there's 52 weeks in a year. Then I plug into the equation that we know, 2 pi over b, to figure out our actual period. 2 pi over 52, one wavelength, gives us pi over 26 as our period. So after figuring out the amplitude, which goes for A, vertical shift, which goes for D, and the period, which is K in this equation, the only thing left to figure out is the C value. So to figure out the C value, I just chose to do simple algebra and plug in the the max into the X formula, 43, and have the equation equal to 57, because when B of 43 produces 57,000. So after doing basic algebra, subtracting 35 from both sides, dividing 22 from both sides, we're left with cosine times pi over 26 times 43 plus c on one side and 1 on the other side. And to cancel out the cosine on this side, we just find the arc cosine of 1 on this side. And the arc cosine of 1, by putting into our calculator, is 0. So with cosine cancel out this side, we're left with pi over 26 times 43. After getting this, we just divide both sides by pi over 26. And 0 divided by pi over 26 is 0. So then we're left with 43 plus c equals 0 over here. So then we just subtract 43 from both sides, and we're left with our horizontal shift equaling negative 43. So they're figuring out the period, figuring out the horizontal shift, figuring out the vertical shift, and figuring out the amplitude. We can complete our whole equation with our final equation coming to 22 cosine pi over 26 t, which is our variable, minus 43 plus 35. And that is our final answer.